Today is September the 4th, 2021. Hi, my name is Frank Demora, the author of the book The Last Chronicles of Planet Earth, which is a documentary on Bible prophecy and current events. You can go over to my website. This one particular website is End Times Research Ministry. And you can go over there, and when you're there, just scroll down. You'll see the book, front and back cover, and below it, there's a link. Click that link, and the book will be administered to you as soon as you click the link for free. Never ask anybody for anything, and I never will. All I want is to be able to show you the warnings that Jesus gave to this generation for the last days. And we know that these are the last days by all of the signs that are taking place all at the same time. So what I'm going to do now is this week, what I did is I put the news, connecting the dots between the news and Bible prophecy for this week. So take a look at what we've been going through, because these are the birth pangs of the last days. And they're going to get more extreme because they are birth pangs. And anybody that knows about birth pangs know that they start off small and then gradually they get worse until the baby's delivered. And this is how the Lord likens to the last days, as a woman who is in birth, the pains of that birth. But in these last days, the birth pangs, the signs of the times, are going to lead us to the return of the Lord Jesus Christ, which is a blessing. But so, for now, let's take a look at connecting the dots between the news and Bible prophecy. And you will see the scriptures first, and then what has transpired in the news pointing to fulfillment of prophecy.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Tonight we begin once again with the extreme weather facing this country. The Northeast is recovering from record-breaking rain, flooding, and tornadoes triggered by remnants of Hurricane Ida. The storm is now responsible for more than 40 deaths. For the first time ever, the National Weather Service declared a flash flood emergency in New York City, which got more than 3 inches of rain in an hour. The city's subways were shut down as rain filled the tracks. Look at these pictures. Tornadoes tore homes to pieces in New Jersey. And as rising rivers inundated entire neighborhoods, hundreds of calls for rescues went out. Now, as the East Coast dries out, Louisiana is still struggling in the aftermath of Hurricane Ida. The storm has now impacted 22 states and left a trail of destruction.
This morning, the Northeast is shaken after the remnants of Hurricane Ida swept through, catching many off guard.
We lost everything.
Torrential downpours, unprecedented flash flooding, and powerful tornadoes battered businesses, homes, and public transit.
What we've got to recognize is the suddenness, the brutality of storms now. It is different.
In Central Park, record rain, 3 inches in just 1 hour.
I've been here more than 20 years and never seen the park like this.
In the city, at least 13 people are dead, including a 2-year-old in Queens, trapped as the floodwaters rose in this basement apartment.
It's very, very devastating.
In New Jersey, stunning loss, the storm claiming at least 23 lives.
Well, tonight, more than 80 large wildfires in the West have burned more than 2.5 million acres. California is on pace to break last year's record fire season.
Fire breaks, all aimed at slowing a wildfire that's generated so much smoke, it's visible from space. The terrain here is so dry and dangerous, officials say they might be forced to let it burn for miles.
From the 500,000 acres of parched and idle farmland to the swaths of receding reservoirs, the signs of California's historic drought are obvious. Less obvious is just how historic the ongoing drought actually is when compared with previous dry spells in the Golden State's history. An analysis of annual Palmer Drought Severity Index recordings, founded by meteorologist Wayne Palmer as a way to factor in both precipitation and temperature to track soil moisture, shows the nearly 4-year drought is in fact the worst in over a century. Igwa Dai, atmospheric and environmental sciences professor at the University of Albany, said PDSI paints a more complete picture than rainfall alone, and does a better job of showing how bad things have actually gotten. California has been gradually warming over the last 30 years, he said. It's an important part of the equation because a warmer temperature means water evaporates more quickly, worsening the dryness from the precipitation deficit. The current drought has averaged a reading of -3.67 over the last 3 years, nearly twice as bad as the second driest stretch since 1900, which occurred in 1959. Ironically, that drought was battled by current Governor Jerry Brown's father, Pat Brown. The former governor approved the California Water Project, a $1.8 billion initiative that directed water to Southern California and contributed to a boom in agriculture and population. Now his son faces an even more serious problem. Some experts contend that rising temperatures in and of themselves might skew PDSI numbers higher in recent years, but Dai disagrees, contending that such a large difference can't be attributed solely to that bias. I would think this is the worst drought because the bias would not account for that much of the difference, he said. Other studies using PDSI data drawn from tree ring observations reaching even further back in time reveal similar findings. One such study from University of Minnesota and Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute researchers showed the current drought is California's worst in at least 1,200 years.
To 8 p.m. last night, we had 1,431 cases of community transmission, and regrettably 12 people lost their lives, and we extend our deepest condolences.
Too afraid you'll lose your vaccination card? Then why not get a tattoo of it? Well, that's exactly what Italian Andrea Colinetta did. The 22-year-old student opted to get his COVID-19 vaccination QR code tattooed on his arm just in case he forgets to bring it with him. Proof of vaccination is required in most Italian indoor venues. Telling the Corriere della Calabria newspaper, Colinetta said, "It's certainly something original. I like to be different." Certainly they encouraged me to be less impulsive and to better reflect on things, he told the publication. His ink went viral after one of his friends was able to scan his arm with his phone to see if the proof would actually come up digitally. A video of the exchange was posted on his TikTok and many were amazed at the feat. In another video, Colaneta used his tattoo to eat indoors at a McDonald's.